Hey everybody, welcome to another game stream. Playing some Death Stranding again tonight. Turn all that down. Wait, hold on. Check. Okay, yeah, I'm coming through. On Twitch, DMGRGN. On YouTube, Spider Does Things. Don't forget to go to the website, ltatm.net. Let's talk about the madness. Let's get it. Building roads tonight. I'm going to keep building roads, I think. I'm gonna keep building roads. That's what I think I'm gonna do. See what Mads is up to. Mads is gonna check in. Check in with Mads.
Take a look. This is what the world looked like hundreds of millions of years ago. It was just one big continent. And do you know what this is?
It's the moon, man.
The moon. I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise.
I think I've seen this one before. Yeah, pretty sure I've seen this cutscene before. I wondered if they repeated.
The whole
so
wide
often.
world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
What was that? Oh, straight through the moon. On Twitch in the chat, we got Deadpool head.
Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons.
You know, I'm almost embarrassed to say so, Mr. Deadpool head, but we need for coding, I think, on something. And how those cats are fighting. It's kind of funny. Fighting through a chair. Mr. Deadpool head. I have a, I started work on the forum that was requested by the Uncanny team for the new website, ltatm.net. And I've got a free forum, and it's embeddable, which means I can take the code and put the code in there, so it should show up naturally right there on the website. But I can't get it to show up because the website goes through GoDaddy, and it's notoriously finicky with its coding. Anytime I've had to do code work, like when I set up the Twitch streams here, it was obnoxiously difficult. I had to look up a bunch of other places to find what I needed to get that to work. But I got it. Now, I tried a few things with the code for the forum today, and I couldn't get it to work. And I looked up some things, and there isn't a lot of helpful information up there. Everybody says, oh, just copy and paste. Copy and paste isn't working. So, I could just link it, so people can just click a link and go to the forum. And worst comes to worst, that's what I'll do. But if I can, I'd like to embed it, so people can just go to the page on the website and interact with the forum right there without having to go to a separate website. So I'll when I get to it, probably tomorrow, I'll send you the code, and you can tell me if there's anything I need to add to it to get it to work. That's what I'm going to try to do. Because I can't find the information I need online for whatever reason. Like, it's not... Everybody seems to think I'm adult. And it's like, Oh, all you gotta do is just do this. You're adult. You're a dummy. Not an adult as an ADULT, but a adult. A space DOLT. Adult. Like a dummy, a moron, do a doofus. And I'm no. I don't think that's the. I don't think that's the problem. Why am I not wearing those boots? I just put the boots on. Oh, because I didn't confirm. I always forget you have to confirm everything in this
Thank
game.
you for your continued support.
Okay. Yes, I see. Skip that. I gotta put some shoes on. I got no shoes.
Thank you for your
Got no
contribution.
shoes. It's bad news. Got no shoes. It's bad news. I wondered why my numbers hadn't changed. And now I have to fabricate another set to make sure I have another backup. I always carry two backup pairs of shoes. Fabricate the equipment. Yeah, I just copy pasted it. Like it, the forum generated it for me, and seemed to think all I had to do was do one and the other. So, um, I was never great at coding. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie. I was never very great at coding. I'm very remedial in my href HTML coding and things like that. The href. So, if you are better at it than me, then I will send it to you, and you can take a look at it and see if there's something that you can figure out about it. Because I am not shy to admit that there are things I'm not good at. I know people out there are like, oh, but I am good at a lot of things, but there are some things I'm not good at, and website coding is one of them. So yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow probably, because tomorrow I'm gonna be working more on it. I played around with it earlier, and I was overwhelming my mind, and I was like, I'm not gonna think about it anymore tonight. I've got other things I gotta do tonight. I got other videos I gotta do tonight. I've got stuff to do. You know, I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man here. You know what you mean? I'm a busy man. I'm building roads and bridges and websites and codes and things. Okay, so I've got. See, I got this whole road built all the way down to there. But I'm gonna build. Where's the next bit of road I want to build? Is there road over there? No, there's no road over there. Is that a road? No, that's a generator. Over here, that needs a lot of stuff. I need chiral crystals, metals, ceramics. How much do I need of all that? Let's see. Let's do some calculations. Calculations, everybody. Calculations. Calculate. Let's calculate. If I bring up my calculator. Ceramics, I think, are the lesser. So I'll carry those first. 2,160. I don't think I can carry that much. But I need 2,160. Because it's halfway, it looks like. Easy, 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 easy. Don't murder your best friend in the world. 2,160. But that's where I'm going to go. So I'm going to take the road. Remove all the markers I got here. So once I get up there, past the craftsman. Is that the craftsman? Yeah, that's the craftsman. So once I get past him. Okay. So let me grab a bunch of ceramics. There's my ceramics. Oh, I can only take one of those. That's probably all they got. Alright, I'll see if I can take all that. It's a lot of ceramics, but you know what? I got it. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that kind of stuff, but... So I know the basic, like, this is how you link things. But as far as getting this to embed, it doesn't seem to be wanting to do it. But we'll figure it out. Like I said, I'm finished worrying about it for tonight.
Have a
I
pleasant
got
journey.
brain power on other things, but we got it figured out. And it could even be something on GoDaddy's end. It may just be not great, even though it has a way to use custom code. It might just be not very great at implementing it. So worst comes to worst, I'll just have a page dedicated to linking to the forum, and people can just click out and go. It's an extra step, and I'm trying to avoid extra steps. I want everything to be as self-contained as possible. If people can watch YouTube videos on the website, perfect. If people can watch Twitch on the website, perfect. If people can listen to music on the website, perfect.
Have a pleasant journey.
If they can use the forum on the website, perfect. But if they have to click extra stuff to go to extra places, that's when you have to wonder if people's um, attention spans are going to be good for that, you know?
Weapons restrictions listed.
So, that's the only thing. I'm going to pick up these chiral crystals while I'm here. So I'm going to need all these that I can get.
There we go.
Yeah. Not taking any other packages.
There we go.
There we go. Ah, that thing. That big skull thing. It's creeping me out. This is going to be a nice, pleasant jaunt down the road. These guys down here, are they awake or are they myrtleized? Oh, there's a bunch of that stuff down there. I kind of need that. I need the chiral crystals. So, I gotta go down there. Gotta go down there. In which case, make sure we got our mazer gun. So we can blast some mother stinkers. Okay. Let's make sure we're on the hunt here. Oh, that guy's been taken out. Somebody took him out. Maybe that was me. Not today, but some other time. Hmm. This is a tricky little spot when you're carrying a load like this. That. That. I need that. Okay. Now let's get back out of here. It's not easy with this heavy load we got going on here. That's okay. We need those chiral crystals. Oh, I could have just gone... Yeah, whatever. That's fine. I'll just go back to the road, because the road is simple. It's easier on the boots, too. Easier on the boots. So everybody watching, since I had that big conversation talking about the website and the forum, there's your big news. We will have a forum on ltatm.net very soon. The trick is going to be to make sure that it stays active, because I don't know, I've never been good at forums, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to appoint some other people to help run it. Obviously the Uncanny team. Steven's going to be there. We're going to post some things. We're going to try to post weekly. Since it's free, there's a limit to how many overall posts you'll be able to have on it, and then you'll have to start clearing off space, I believe. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to monitor it and then archive some things. Yeah, he got smashed down there, whoever that was. But, we're going to see how it goes. I know how a forum is supposed to run, because I'm still a member of a forum I've been with for over a decade, at least. Longer than that. Longer than a decade. Maybe 2 decades. And, I don't participate a lot, because you find out sometimes with some forums that there's a crowd of people that are popular people that are protected. And if you say something they don't like, then they all dogpile you. That will not happen on the Let's Talk About the Madness forums. I will not allow that kind of behavior. I'm going to be pretty heavy with the moderation if I can help it. And people can be mad and grumble about free speech as much as they want, but you're not going to come on and make a mess out of it. Sound like a jerk right now, but that's just how it's going to be. You're not going to come around making a mess out of my stuff. I mean, I'm 100% for people saying pretty much whatever they want, wherever they want, but I'm not going to let people come in and just blatantly spam and divert the topics and be abusive. I'm not going to allow that. It's not something that I'm fond of, so I will be a dictatorship as far as that goes. There we go. You can say pretty much anything, even an insult, without being blatantly insulting. If you want to be like, hey, you know what, I'm not really too keen on you, that's something to say. But if you're like, you're a big jerk and I think you die, well, that's, that's something else. There's ways to say things. You can say what you want, but there's ways to say it. Is really where I'm coming from. Still got a ways to go. Got this nice road. I walk a lonely road. Spam I dislike too. Spam isn't free speech. Spam is just spam. If you go into a forum about Bigfoot, right? And then you're like, well, you know what? I don't want to talk about Bigfoot. I want to talk about muffins. And every post that you make in the Bigfoot thread is about muffins. I'm probably going to get rid of your posts. They don't got nothing to do with Bigfoot. You can try to justify and be like, oh, well, what if Bigfoot likes muffins? If that gets into an actual discussion of like dietary habits of Bigfoot, okay, that's one thing. But if you get into just the, like, if you're spamming, you're spamming, and I'm not doing spam. I don't like it. I like the food. I like to eat spam. I like me some spam. Sometimes the grease on that is out of control, so I can't eat it a lot. But the internet spam is not. Enough already. No, I don't give anybody a like. It's the BB. The BB gives the likes. The BB likes to like things. I don't think I need this out. The BB will like things whether you want to or not, and that's fine. BB, whatever. I'm not gonna go out of my way to do it though. You gotta watch your behavior if I'm gonna have you as a moderator. You can't be getting into those shenanigans. Oh, there's the things over there. They're out and about. That's the other problem I have on the forum that I'm on. It's that the moderation team are all buddies and they're all friends. Of course, they would be, whatever. But they're also, when it comes down to moderation, then they will actively defend each other on everything. And there's like there's at least one racist person on that forum who's straight up is a racist dude. And I told him so. I flat out told him so. And he's tried to threaten me before with stuff, and I've been like, nah. I don't care if you're on the team or what. Like, if you're a douche, you're a douche. Hmm. That's not the button I wanted to do. I wanted to look at. Oh, that's a generator. That's not a paver. Okay. I wondered if that was a paver. But on that forum, there's only one person on the moderation team that I follow for anything. If he says, okay, we gotta stop talking about this, or hey, stop arguing with people, or do this, fine, that's the final straw. Because he's the only person who hasn't come out and been, like, straight up jerk to me about stuff. Other people on the team have been in their feelings about politics and whatever, and they're not impartial. If you're gonna be a moderator, you have to be impartial. You can't just be like, well, I'm gonna ban everybody who doesn't like this, or who acts like this, or whatever. And that's what I want to avoid with a forum. So I'm gonna be kind of strict with it. I'm gonna be a bit on the stricty side there. You know what I mean? Let's see about. Don't look behind you. There's nobody over there. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Let's get in here and let's rebuild the roads. Yes, let's do that and that and that and that. Oh, it doesn't need any of that. do that. Yeah, do that. Okay. Now, where are we at with this? Let me get away from here. Okay, so now it needs... I gotta get rid of the markers. Okay, come on. Let me talk to it. Let me see. Nope. I don't care about the blood bag. Let's just pick that up. I played the first Half-Life when it came out. My dad had it on PC. I was not very good at it, but I played it. I couldn't get into it too much. Um, oh, cats everywhere. In Half-Life 2, I feel like it just seems like I have the orange box now because it's been ported to Xbox, and so I have it, and I've tried to play it a few times. And it seems overrated to me. And maybe it's just because I didn't play the second one when it came out to appreciate how good it might have been. Rob always gets after me about that. Like he's always like, "Ooh, how could you not?" But I just can't get into it. I get bored. There were other games from that generation and from earlier than that I like better. Like the original Unreal that set the Unreal Engine. The first game to use the Unreal Engine was a game called Unreal, and it had a story, and it was huge, massive. It was fantastic, and I would go back and play it again in a second if they brought that up to. What are those cats doing? If they brought it up to modern stuff, but it it really changed the game, so to speak. But like Half Life, I don't know. I know it was revolutionary for what it was at the time too. It's not like I'm gonna discount or throw out the window and say that it was crap because I don't think it was. I just couldn't get into it,
Beginning scan.
and I still
Scanning
can't for
bridges
whatever
ID.
reason.
Verifying
I
ID.
just get bored.
Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. All clear. Welcome, Sanford Bridges.
I just get bored. You know what I mean? I get bored with it. And it is, for what it is, it's a good game. I can't say that it's not. I just can't get into it. And I guess that's just too bad for me. Oh, what are those cats doing? How much does it need ceramics now? Because I grew up, my dad had Wolfenstein 3D, he had Spirit Destiny, he had Doom, Doom 2, we had Cyber Mage, we had so many classic good first person shooters. And so I grew up with a lot of stuff. Unreal Tournament. I was good at Unreal Tournament. That was the first and last time that I was ever good at a multiplayer shooter. Although I can still beat people in Doom stuff sometimes if it's old. I'm not like champion level or anything. I wouldn't go to tournaments, but I wouldn't go to tournaments. All right, load that up. when Unreal came out and people started using the engine for stuff, it changed things. Like there were Star Trek games where you could play as like the Klingons and stuff, and they used the Unreal Engine. There was a Wheel of Time game that used the Unreal Engine. It was crazy,
Weapons
and
ready.
now you're up to Unreal Engine 5 or 6 or something. It's nuts how far that's gone. I've told this story before, I'm sure. Since I used to play Unreal Tournament. Why am I punching that? On the servers of my high school, some enterprising people in the shop class who also were part of the networking class, like I was, knew how to get into various parts of the school's network. And so um, they installed Unreal Tournament on the school's server so they could play it online in the on the school's intranet. So you could play in the shop class on their computers and all the whatever else, whatever was connected to it, you could play on as long as nobody wasn't paying too close attention to what you were supposed to be doing. So down in the networking class, which is also the chemistry lab, it was served two purposes. It was two classes that were run out of that set of rooms. Um, I found it because I was in the networking class, and I found out, oh yeah, you can play this. So I started playing against the people in the shop class, and they didn't know who I was. Well, I mean, they knew me, but not on the game because I just started playing it, and I beat the snot out of them.
Scanning bridges ID.
It was
Verifying ID.
fantastic. I was beating them so badly that they sent somebody down to the chemistry lab networking
Welcome,
rooms to
Sam.
find out who was beating them so badly. They were like, "Who is this guy?" Because I had played it at home and I was really good at it. And this was before all the days of Call of Duty sweaty tryhard stuff. Like it was way before that kind of thing, and it was a good time. Let's take two of those. How many of those do I need? I need 2880. Wonder if I can carry all that. I guess I'll find out. I guess it's good that it's just right over there. I got away with a lot of stuff in school. By the time I got to high school, I was firmly done with school. I hated school the entire time I was there. I never liked it. I never. I had like moments where I was like, "Oh yeah, that's too much." I didn't know this was too much weight, so I gotta drop some stuff. I'm 13 over. Let's get rid of that. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I'll come back for that stuff. But yeah, I was pretty much done with school by the time I was in high school, and I was just trying to get through and graduate and not worry about it anymore. So I would just do things I would do pretty much whatever I wanted as long as I got my work turned in. Um, and I passed at the bare minimums. I passed with like seasoned up, seasoned B's mostly. I don't really care too much. Like I could have done better. I'm a smart person, obviously. That's not a humble brag. That's just I'm a smart person. People can be smart. I just didn't want to do any of it. So, but there was one time where there was like a class. It was called a class meeting. Well, they had everybody in the not the gymnasium. It was the auditorium where the stage was and everything. And they were it was you had to. It was mandatory. Everybody had to go and sit in the seats. And this meeting was about a fundraiser that they were doing. And the fundraiser wasn't even going to benefit. It wasn't even going to benefit my class. It was going to benefit one of the classes that came after us, like the next bunch. And I was like, I don't need this. This is BS. So I told the people next to me in the seats, I said, lift up your feet. And they looked at me funny, because what else would they do? I said, lift up your feet. And they were like, all right. So they lifted up their feet to give enough room. And I slunk down, and I army crawled on my belly, hands and knees, under them, into the aisleway,
Beginning scan.
up the aisle of the auditorium,
Verifying ID.
and out the door, so that the teachers and the people on and the faculty on the stage wouldn't see me. And I went back to class. And the teacher was like, is the meeting over? I was like, no. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be there? I'm like, doesn't matter. And he was just like, whatever. Because they were sick of me by that point. They were absolutely sick of me. But they couldn't do too much because I got my stuff done. The bare minimum, but I got my stuff done. So they were just like, whatever. I had a lot of instances of that where they were just like, whatever, with me. Which was funny. I wrote my way to do a class project, or a senior project. You had to do something. And one of the things you could do was write a paper and present it. And you had to convince, had to be a convincing paper, so you had to write a paper that was supposed to convince people that something was true. And so I wrote a paper talking about why I was God and proving it by using various psychological methods that. And I did a whole Chris Farley thing where it was like, I am your God, all shouted really loud. It was funny. And the teacher gave me an A. She said, I don't agree with you, but it was well done. I disagree with your premise, but it was well done. Because I put it together. I thought it through. I used Eastern philosophy. I used a bunch of stuff. And I made sure that it was a foolproof paper. Sure, you could find flaws in it, but it was well thought out. So they let me pass. No. No detention. This particular teacher had gotten used to my shenanigans by that point, too. She was kind of like, whatever. Because I was passing her class. I was passing her class. I was doing well. Um, I was just a pain. But I was doing well, so.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
I see some chiral stuff down there. I'm gonna go grab it. I did have to take a week of summer school once because they thought that I had failed my algebra class, which is no surprise because I struggled with algebra. Um, they struggled, I struggled really badly with my algebra class. I can't get that level of math. I just can't. There's some things that I'm just not smart about, and advanced mathematical equations, I'm not good at. I have to admit it. Like I can't say anything else about it. I'm just not good at. But it turned out after like a week, they came back to me and they said, "Oh yeah, you don't have to be here anymore. You actually passed with a D." And I was like, "Oh well, that's great." And they were like, "It's not really, but you don't have to be here." I was like, "It's great for me." So I didn't have to go back. I felt good about it. Take that. But me and school didn't get along very much. We were not fond of each other, you could say. Not very fond of each other. See, that's a. It got kind of dicey towards the end of my senior year because they tried a few things to keep me held back. You wouldn't think that they would, but. And I'm not just, you know, talking conspiracies. They tried to ding me for a library book that they said that I never returned. And so I had to go down to the library with them, find it on the shelf, and say, "Here, it's right here. Do your worst." And they're kind of like, or whatever. But they were gonna hold my diploma for it, and I was like, "No, you just didn't look. You just didn't want to look because you wanted to be mad at me."
Beginning scan. Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected.
I got a free class once, a free class credit.
Cargo verified.
I was part of the yearbook class in Spirit. Yearbook was a class. It was like an elective class, but I had to drop something. I don't remember what I dropped. I changed my schedule and I dropped, and they said you need an extra credit to to graduate or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what they got. And the librarian, who was also one of my English teachers,
Delivering
I would
orders.
fix her computer for her when people would mess it up because I was in the networking class.
Hey, Sam. Oh, thanks.
So I'd fix her
I'm
computer.
Bridges guy's manager.
And so when I told her about it, I don't remember how it got onto it. I told her, I was like, yeah, I need to get an extra credit somehow. And she was like, oh, well, you can just be part of the network or part of the yearbook class. You don't really have to do anything. You just, show up and be there because you've helped me with my computer all the time. And if I need help with my computer, then you can do that for me. And I was like, all right. And so that's how I got in there. So I had the credits I needed. I'm a master mover. Ask your mother. Hey, I got rainbows on there. A celebrated transporter. Oh, nice. Okay. Wow, getting colorful. I'm a transporter. I'm gonna get more likes. People like me. I am a good person, and people like me. According to this game, anyway.
Keep it up, Sam.
Yeah, I'm done talking to you. Let's just move along here.
Good work. New order available.
Do you got any chiral stuff I can take? You do. Let me take them. Let me take all those. One of the best things I did in school, and I know I've talked about this before, but it's always a good story again, is we had a vice principal who I did not like. Not many people did. He thought he was going to come in and be like laying down the law on these kids that are just bad news and stuff. And so what I did was I started a campaign for him to run for Homecoming Queen. Not Homecoming King, Homecoming Queen. And, why does it gotta walk like that? And I made shirts and a sign, and I had people write him in on the ballot. If they would have counted it, he would have won. But they didn't count it. They refused to count it. But they did make a note of how many votes he got,
Weapons restrictions lifted.
and he would have won. He was he was really irritated about it, but he put on a good sport attitude because he didn't want to look like he was, he still wanted to look like he was a cool guy. So he had a picture with us for the yearbook while we all had our shirts on. His name was Mr. Burns, and our slogan was Mr. Burns for Homecoming Queen because he's a darn nice fella. When he was not at all a darn nice fella. Oh, it was pretty good. But, at least he was good enough sport to pose for the picture with us. He didn't wear a shirt, though. He didn't wear his shirt. He wore his shirt. He was not, like, walking around half nude. I don't want anybody getting any weird impressions. But, yeah, he did not put on one of our shirts. Now I gotta get some Cairo crystals. Let's see. Gotta get some Cairo crystals. So if I follow the road back south, I'll get there. I'm gonna pick up this thing since I'm headed that direction. See, I got all kinds of stories. I've had a lot of interesting things happen in my life. I've instigated a lot of interesting things in my life that maybe I shouldn't have. But I did anyway. And I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. Which sandwich story is that? I don't quite. If I have a sandwich story, what was it? Sandwich story. What is that? What's sandwich story? Give me a brief synopsis and I'll jog my memory here. I'm sure it's probably just escaping me right now. Oh, no, that's two different stories. That's different stories. The big sandwich was a different story. But, so, the big sandwich is when I had to leave because he threatened my family.
Two wheels up.
At his own home where my family were not at, so it's not like. We laugh about that because it was a funny story. But the other thing was the meatloaf. The meatloaf and WrestleMania and the absinthe. That was the lactose intolerant story. So the first one, when we had first started hanging out, we were hanging out for a while, and he had a Christmas party because he always had Christmas every year. He still does. I'm sure he does. If you ask him about it, he's still got Christmas every year.
Keep it up.
But he had a Christmas party. He had people he invited over, and he had this big ringed. It was like one of those big long hoagie sandwiches that you see in like TV shows and movies, but it was in a ring, so it wasn't super long, but it was a ring, so you could big bread and everything. Delicious. I had a bunch of it. But we were all drinking. We were drinking Patron, so we were drinking tequila, and it got to him, and he got into a mood, and he I don't remember what he said. He said something, and I thought he was joking. I said, "I got you," and he's like, "No." He got real dark, real serious. Like, "No, you don't got me. I will end you and your whole family." And he gave me this look, but he was like falling over because he'd had a lot to drink because he hadn't had anything to soak it up. I'd had the sandwich and I was feeling pretty good, but he didn't. So I told him, you gotta eat this sandwich. Everything's gonna be fine. And then it was like because the mood was so weird, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta leave because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't want to have to fight you while you're drunk in your own house on Christmas. I can't do that. So then I talked to him about it. Like the next time we saw each other at work, I was like, you threatened my family. He was like, oh yeah. But it was funny because I knew where it was coming from. It was just he had some feelings on the inside that had gotten to him that were boiling over, and they just came out in that moment, and that's how it was.
Weapons
I just
detected.
happened to be the
All
person
weapons
there that set it
locked until
off,
departure. Cargo verified. Thank you. Safe
and
travels.
so later on, much later, we'd known each other for a while.
Decontaminating soon.
Known each other for a
All
while.
clear. Welcome, Sandport
Um,
Bridges.
we were doing a WrestleMania party because he would get WrestleMania, we'd watch that, and we got absinthe, and we made this meatloaf that had like we made homemade beer cheese. Oh, it was so delicious. It was delicious. But this was before I knew that I had a problem with lactose. So we ate that. We drank the absinthe. At some point, I had to throw up a bunch of times. I had to lay on the couch for a while. I didn't get home till early the next day. But I was like, why did this set me off so bad? Why did I throw up? I didn't even have any more to drink than I usually have. I don't understand. Because I wasn't drinking so badly that I was like, I didn't drink a whole bottle by myself. I didn't go nuts. I had a couple of cups, honestly. It's less than I usually have nowadays. So, but I looked into it and I found out that if you are lactose intolerant and you drink alcohol, um, you it it makes you throw up most often, like because it started to be a pattern. Every time I'd have something with a lot of dairy, and I'd drink a little bit, I would start feeling queasy and start feeling kind of,
Please access delivery terminal for further
and
information.
so that's how we found out. It was a learning experience. Yeah, I threw up on his driveway.
Unpleasant
He had to
trip.
hose it off down. He's got a drain in his driveway and stuff. So, but ever since then, as long as I don't have anything with dairy, then I'm fine.
Safe travels.
I can do my drinks, and I'm fine. Take care of yourself now. Whatever.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
Yeah, I didn't get around to fighting the Wendigo. That was a fun little diversion we were going to try to do, but the production value of that ended up being more than we could accomplish at the time.
Keep on keeping on.
We were going to have a whole thing with it. It was going to be funny. That was back in the audio only days when we were just doing the audio podcast before we got into the video. It's crazy to think about how far the show has gotten since then. the show the show started as an idea that Rob had. He wanted to do a radio show talking about paranormal stuff because we would talk about it all the time. And I was working on the other. I was a part of the other radio network, the one that now sucks, that we don't talk too much about. It's still limping along somehow. Um, so I knew the programs to use, I knew the apps, I knew whatever we needed to use to get started. And I thought my idea was at the time that hey, if I bring you on to the network that I'm on already, we can diversify the content, we can bring attention to the whole thing. It's exactly what I'm doing now, where I bring together all of my interests and the interests of other people that I know that we're all working together on
Safe travels.
into a cohesive whole, and we bring everybody up at the same time. The idea has never gone away. It's a good idea. And so I told the owner, I was like, no, my buddy here, he's got this show idea for a show. I think it's a great idea. Him and I are gonna do it. We'll work on it. She was never fully behind the idea. Like she says after the fact that she was, that she thinks Rob's cool and all this other stuff. And she doesn't. She complained about him all the time. She didn't trust him. He set off her triggers. It was just how his attitude was and blah blah. And he wasn't like, he didn't have an attitude. It's just that the person that he is did not gel with her on some level. And she couldn't get past it. She couldn't just trust me enough to be. I kept telling her, I was like, trust me, I got this. I got it under control. You let me deal with it. Everybody's going to benefit. Everybody is going to benefit if you just let me handle this. And at one point, she came up with a BS excuse to throw him off. To be like, hey, you know what? Get off my network. I don't want you here anymore. And that's when I quit. I'd been there for 4 years. And I'd had some problems about halfway through that had kind of kept me, because I started to see what kind of a person she was. She's messed up. She's got issues. She's a sociopath. I mean, she'll say that she's got some other thing, that she's in therapy and whatever, but she's a sociopath. There's no other way around it. She's just sociopathic, and she needs far more help than what she's getting. And so yeah, I left and we started doing things on our own because I had an idea of what to do by that point. So the only issue was trying to get the costs, and so we got the costs and we figured it out. Almost done with this road here. I need like 30 more Cairo. What's over here? Oh hey, there's some stuff here. There's 11. Hey, there's some more. Oh hey, that'll do it. That should do it. Let's go take a look. Let's see. I think that should do it. I think that should do it. Let's see, 660. 660. Minus 631. So 29. I need 29. I'm sure I've got them. And then I'm going to build another road to make things easier on myself. Hey, we just built us a road. Nice. really nice. Good job. Good job. How far does this go to? Just out to here, and that's about it, huh? I'm not playing your game there, Mr. Deadpool Head. I'm not playing your jokey game there. You can just jokester somebody else with it. You're just a jokester with jokes you got there. I ain't gonna play your game. No, I ain't gonna do it. Hmm. So I made this road and it goes to nowhere. There's something up there. There's something up there. I should just start exploring now. Not right now because I'm past my hour. But I should start exploring. Eventually get back to the main story. I like building these roads because it gives me something else to do rather than just delivering stuff back and forth and different from the main story. I can kind of just do something constructive that's visible and that's interesting.
Beginning scan. Scanning bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear.
I know,
Weapons
thank you.
detected.
Let's
All
go.
weapons will be locked until departure.
Hey, let's go. Yeah, with the going and the goals of stuff. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Can I stay here? Yeah, he's got a resting spot. Alright. It's nice of him. You don't get a nice little actual space. You just get to rest there. Okay. Delivery bot 1 has completed an order. Let's see what we got here. That wasn't... well, he's got some damage on some of that other stuff. But at least this mission wasn't damage. I didn't have to worry so much about that. It's only a B, though, because of course it would be. Gotta build up that stuff again. A new record at B. Okay. Thanks, robot. Well, thanks anyway. Thanks anyway, I guess. Yeah, I'm only doing the bots just to take on some extra stuff. Like, I would do everything myself, but it just... Whatever, it's no big deal. Alright, and that's it. That's all we got for tonight. Um, as always, thanks for Deadpool Head here in the chat, keeping things lively, getting the stories going. I got tons of stories. I got nostalgia. That's why you tune in. You tune in for the stories. If you don't watch the whole stream, you don't get the stories because I don't start telling them at the beginning. I start telling them in the middle, towards the end. You got to tune in for the whole thing. And if you haven't tuned in for the whole thing, you won't even be knowing that I'm saying this now. So you should have tuned in. Anyway, tomorrow we're doing another game. I have an idea of what it might be. I'm going to play it and test it out tonight and see if it's worth streaming. No spoilers. And then after that, we're going to do more Final Fantasy VII. So, till then, subscribe, please. Spider Does Things on YouTube. DMGRGN on Twitch.